In the last part, Rosie and Xiaofan fell down a hill and found Biyao and her aunt. A big snake appears. Rosie faints after a fight, and Xiaofan and Biyao end up in a cave. Xiaofan accuses Biyao of being a demon and tells her to find a way out of the cave herself. Now, at the beginning of this part, Xiaofan explores the cave and finds it confusing. He questions Biyao about the demon cave, mentioning various paths, bloodstones, and blood falls. Biyao asks about the bloodstones, and Xiaofan takes her there, where they discover a place called the Blood Drop Cave. Biyao accidentally touches something, and they fall into a new cave. They find a skeleton, identified as Xian, who caused a significant event 800 years ago. Biyao recognizes him as the master of the Blood Refining Hall sect and mentions his powerful segment created with a blood-sucking pearl. Xiaofan faints, and Biyao checks his fever, realizing he needs help. She tries to heal him, and when it doesn't work, she cools him with a wet handkerchief. Xiaofan mumbles about demons and his parents, revealing they're dead. Biyao becomes emotional, realizing Xiaofan's pain. Meanwhile, Rosie and others search for Xiaofan, deciding to return to the sect for help. Days later, Xiaofan wakes up to find Biyao sleeping beside him, having fed him her food. They discover Xian's head, and when Xiaofan puts it back, a door opens. Biyao is happy and asks how he did it. Xiaofan explains, and they find writing and statues of King Ming and the holy gods on the other side. Now, Biyao begins to pray to see the statues, as demons considered them gods. Meanwhile, Xiaofan looks around and finds a poem on the wall, but he doesn't understand its meaning. Biyao searches for Xian's treasure, but comes up empty-handed. Suddenly, she opens a drawer, releasing black smoke that attacks her. Xiaofan and Biyao team up to defeat the black smoke. In the drawer, Biyao discovers 2 bells protected by the black smoke. She wonders why Xian would protect such ordinary bells. Biyao realizes that the bells belong to Madame Jinling, the founder of Qingyun Sect, known for her brilliance and intelligence. Madame Jinling's bell is powerful enough to extract someone's soul. Biyao is puzzled about why Madame Jinling's bells are in the blood refining hall. Amidst the confusion, Biyao bursts into laughter. When Xiaofan asks why, she explains that if Madame Jinling's bell is in the blood refining hall, it suggests that Madame Jinling and Xian might have been a couple 800 years ago. Xiaofan fails to see the humor and questions the significance. Biyao clarifies that the blood refining hall and Qingyun Sect were arch-enemies in the past, making it surprising that there could be couples between them even back then. Now, Biyao tells Xiaofan that Xian wrote in a book that Madame Jinling had left him. However, she has a feeling that Xian might be behind the breakup because he was a stone-hearted person. On hearing this, Xiaofan says, if Xian had a stone heart, then Madame Jinling's bells would not have been kept safe, and poems would not have been written on the walls for her. At the same time, Xiaofan touches the wall, and a spiritual hand emerges, attacking him. However, Xiaofan absorbs the spiritual energy with his stick. After this, the poems are removed from the wall, and some phrases are written. Biyao identifies them as phrases from our heavenly book, where we learn all the techniques of demons. But then, Xiaofan notices that these phrases are also in the Buddhism Book of Humans. Seeing this, Xiaofan doesn't understand how demons and humans can have similar attitudes when demons have evil intentions. On another side, we see Rosie, who had come back to the sect at the behest of others but was still worried about Xiaofan. Both of them were hungry for many days, feeling very weak, with no way to get out from above. Just then, Biyao comes to Xiaofan, gives him a dagger, and says, I am a demon girl whom you do not like at all. So you kill me, after which you will be able to live by eating my meat for a few more days. However, Xiaofan refuses to do so. Then, Biyao starts trying to kill herself, so Xiaofan stabs Biyao in the side, making her appear dead. As a result, Biyao regains consciousness and says to Xiaofan that when she was 6 years old, her mother took her to a cave to meet her grandmother. In Tianyan Temple, a monk attacked them and closed the cave. Biyao's grandmother was killed immediately by falling stones, and her mother and she were trapped in the cave. Biyao's mother used to tell her that her father would come and save them. However, after days passed with no help, Biyao's mother, on the pretext of finding food in the cave, used to take meat from her own body and feed it to Biyao every day, becoming very weak. After a few days, Biyao's father came to the cave looking for them. When he saw the condition of Biyao's mother and grandmother, he got so angry at Biyao that he wanted to kill her. Now, when Biyao begins to cry, Xiaofan emotionally supports her. Feeling that they can't leave the cave, Biyao starts worshipping her gods as a last resort and donates her blood to them. Xiaofan stops Biyao from donating blood, accidentally cutting his hand in the process. The blood of both falls, and the symbols on the ground below them start shining. They notice 2 places where bells could fit, and Biyao puts the bells there. The place breaks down, and another way opens. They come out through that door, feeling happy. Next, they cook and eat an animal. While eating, Biyao seems lost in thought, and her love for Xiaofan is visible in her eyes. The next morning, Xiaofan sits thinking about something, and Biyao comes to ask him about it. Xiaofan shares that he was thinking about how Biyao saved his life by taking care of him. He expresses his desire to do something for her in the future. Biyao, in response, suggests that Xiaofan come to her sect and adopt the teachings of demons. However, Xiaofan declines, stating his preference for the truth and his inability to adopt demon teaching. Angrily, Biyao accuses Xiaofan of accusing demons of being evil, pointing out that the Qingyun Sect is not entirely pure, as their forefathers killed children and women of their sect in ancient times. Xiaofan counters, claiming that demons destroy entire villages. The conversation escalates, with Xiaofan questioning if Biyao has seen humans killing children of her sect or if she is just repeating what her teacher taught. Biyao, frustrated, leaves. Meanwhile, Rosie is still unable to forget Xiaofan's memory, affecting her training. After leaving Biyao's place, Xiaofan goes to a shop to drink tea, missing Zoe. A man at the shop recognizes Xiaofan as being from the Qingyun Sect due to his appearance and training. Xiaofan is surprised and asks how the man knew, who explains that the Qingyun Sect is nearby, and Xiaofan looks like a well-trained student. Now, the guy offering tea to Xiaofan asks for his name, and Xiaofan shares it. The guy, named Renwei, admits to being a common man who has read many books. He finds Xiaofan's weapon fascinating, and wants to know if it absorbed his blood. Confused, Xiaofan questions why Renwei is asking. Renwei explains that Xiaofan's weapon is made up of 2 treasures, including the blood-sucking pearl, a sacred artifact belonging to a demon named Hijin, the same man with the skeleton Xiaofan saw in the cave. Renwei adds that the stick can control its owner's anger and is called the Destroyer of the Soul, made with the help of 9 ghost souls. This revelation shocks Xiaofan, and he realizes the Elder of Dragon Peak was right about his weapon being a dark one. However, Xiaofan doesn't like the idea that his weapon has demonic origins because he views demons as evil. Renwei counters by stating that Xiaofan's sect has a special treasure that has killed many people, making them bigger criminals than demons. Xiaofan argues that humans are good, while demons kill people. Renwei uses the analogy of a lion killing a rabbit, suggesting that calling the lion a demon is unjust since it kills to survive. Xiaofan begins to suspect that Renwei is a demon trying to manipulate him. Before he can confront Renwei, he realizes that Renwei has disappeared. Afterward, Xiaofan looks at his weapon, acknowledging it as a demon weapon but decides to use it for good. On Renwei's side, he positions his servant to keep an eye on Xiaofan because he wants to include Xiaofan in his sect, where he is the sect master. Renwei approaches Biyao and requests her to return to his sect, revealing that Biyao is his daughter. However, Biyao refuses, stating that she no longer considers him family after he destroyed everything belonging to her mother, including her favorite flower garden. Renwei explains that he removed the garden to ease Biyao's longing for her mother but always keeps a flower from it. Touched by this gesture, Biyao agrees to return to the sect. Renwei then informs Biyao about meeting Xiaofan and believes he will achieve great things. Biyao asks her father if he can convince Xiaofan to join their sect, but Renwei explains that Xiaofan's weapon will gradually increase his anger and thirst for blood, leading him to their sect. Biyao is happy as she has fallen in love with Xiaofan. Meanwhile, Xiaofan arrives in a city and notices its emptiness. He discovers a notice warning about a 3-tailed fox demon and is approached by an old man who recognizes him as being from the Qingyun Sect. The old man claims to see past and future, revealing Xiaofan's troubled past and predicting a worsening future. Skeptical, Xiaofan questions the old man's accuracy, and the old man offers to help change Xiaofan's future for 10 coins. Xiaofan only has 4 coins, but agrees to the deal, keeping his remaining coins ready. At that moment, a person from the Vajra sect arrives. This person declares to the city residents that he will eliminate the 9-tailed fox demons. In exchange for food, the city agrees to his proposal. However, the old man tries to rob this person, but he doesn't fall for it. When the person notices Xiaofan and realizes he's from the Qingyun Sect, he asks Xiaofan to join him in killing the demons. Xiaofan agrees, and despite the old man's warnings, he doesn't change his decision. Xiaofan and the man head towards the demons. The girl accompanying the old man questions why he didn't stop Xiaofan, emphasizing the danger of the demons. The old man responds that Xiaofan's fate will unfold as written. This brings an end to our episode. If you enjoyed it, then don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.